The last panel of the last workshop of the last day of the digital conference, and I'm very grateful to have here these three great panelists for this last discussion about institutional decisions on hybrid education. So let me please introduce Mar Pérez San Agustín from Pontificia Universidad Católica in Santiago in Chile, Ella Hamonic from UC Leuven in Belgium, and Davinia Hernández Leo from Universitat Pompeu Fabra here in Spain, in Barcelona. And the way we are going to proceed for this last panel is we're going to present some questions and give some time for our panelists to discuss about them. And then we will open the debate for anybody else to join the discussion and to make additional questions. So just to start, one first an important question about the institutional decisions surrounding hybrid education is what new skills does hybrid education demand on teachers, and how can institutions promote the acquisitions of these new skills? So, for example, Mar, do you mind to start?
Thank you for inviting me to the panel too. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been thinking about this a little bit. So we've been talking about this the whole session, in fact, because we've been commenting, explaining how a good professor would be with these things and so on. But no one has said what type of skills, right? So I was trying to understand which are the kind of skills that make us different teachers and things like that. And I was thinking, okay, we have in the room different teachers of this kind because they are able first to communicate differently. We have been learning to communicate and translate our textual material mainly into an audiovisual material, and now we have developed our communication skills more deeply because we have to be very concrete in a videotape, for example, right? So I would say that the first one is changing the mindset and changing our communication skills. So this is the one professor on this that has to be very communicative and very structured mind. The second one is that, and it's been talking about this the whole day, is like we have to be open-minded and flexible for sharing our materials, but also for collaborating with both technicians, librarians, and other people that we are not used to collaborate with, but they had a lot to do and to say about our content and how we express our ideas. So we need to be open-minded and collaborative and flexible to introduce these ideas within our materials. So I think this is a nice point. And also intergenerational design, right? We have to include our students in the design, so we need to be kind of flexible to agree with that. So to let the students tell to us, this is what we want to learn, this is how we want to learn it. And the second idea and the skills is that we have to become kind of researchers. We are all researchers in our fields. We know a lot of teachers in physics. You do research in physics, you do research in chemistry, a lot of researchers that are good, very good researchers, but they are not researchers with their learning. So we need to develop our analytical skills, the same analytical skills we have for our field of exploration and research in the classroom. So I would say these three. So collaboration, communication, and analytical skills.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation first, and then I would like to precise that I am a MOOC practitioner. I'm not an institution level decision making, so I will address the point of view of someone who really works hands-on with the faculty members on what skills they need to develop to go into the MOOC adventure. But definitely in Louvain, the focus has been on let's take this opportunity of MOOCs as a way to foster new skills and to foster faculty development into pedagogy. So the MOOC initiative is led by the Institute of Pedagogy, and we really foster offering trainings, offering different moments to reflect on what we are the faculty member are going to experience on really what does mean for faculty member to experiment new pedagogy, to be let's say how to be open to new way of doing things, and just to experiment with curiosity was what we can do differently, things that we have been doing for 10 years in the same way, for example. So definitely the change of mindset is something that we really want to foster, think about like openness, and maybe something that really it's really important for me just to say, as a faculty member, you have to learn how to be your own student, because when you are beta testing your course, for example, you just take the room of your students, and this could not happen before, or maybe if we were doing online education. So just to learn to be on your students' place, and it's something really different, because you don't think about content anymore, but you think about just user experience and learning experience. So just to take this place, it's something really important to develop. And then definitely the fact that you have to collaborate with new people that you were not used to collaborate with. And there is maybe something specific also about Louvain. We don't have that much resources. So far, the university has been, we have some public cuts, and we are facing more, like in 20 years, we have 50% more enrollment for on-site students. So we have to deal with less and less resources, and at the same time deal with the fact that the MOOC project is definitely faculty leading, so the faculty needs to get really good management skill to be able to make this project happen. Thank you.
I completely agree with what has been said by my colleagues in this panel. In the case of my university, Pompeu Fabra in Barcelona, which is also a residential institution, professors enrolled in creating MOOCs or using MOOCs in their teaching, they're facing several challenges that have an impact in the skills that they need, or the extended skills that they need in order to be able of embark in these new approaches. I would say that there are two parts here. If I would have to add to what has been already said, if embarking in hybrid education means producing MOOCs, for them this means that they have to design for open, massive, and online scenarios. So online means that they have to prepare much more in advance than they were used to, and there will be less room for improvisation. So they really need to adapt to this situation. Openness means that they really need to advance their analytical skills when it comes to reflecting about the audience of the resources, the activities that they will plan. So it's not only the students that they are used to, the higher education students with similar profiles within a range, but there are different profiles of people, of participants that will be using their activities and their resources with different motivations, etc. And then massiveness, so the limit of scales also demands some creativity, in this case for them to plan, to devise activities, resources that will be sustainable at a large scale. This means that they also need to master more than before the technology that is supporting this kind of activities, meaning probably several platforms. So in my institution, we have been delivering MOOCs, or we are delivering MOOCs in different platforms at the moment. So they need to decide to know the different features, to decide and to master those technologies. And then, of course, there is a role for the institution to support them in selecting, and choosing and knowing better the features of these technologies. And then the second part of the story is how they use the MOOCs or part of the resources that they create for the MOOCs in their residential activity, in their face-to-face classroom. There, the challenge is, again, a lot in the educational area, in the pedagogy. So they really need to rethink the activities that they do in the classroom, in the face-to-face setting, and which typically involve large groups. So we've been discussing today in this workshop the art of Socratic discussions, project-based activities, the role of assessment. And this is far from trivial. No? We've seen in the Laia presented a survey where teachers, some of the teachers don't know how to use, which approaches they could use in hybrid education scenarios when it comes to reuse MOOC resources, their own or other MOOC resources. So pedagogical support from the institution would also help then in developing these new skills.
Okay. Thank you very much. We can open the debate. Any comments? Questions? Yes, please.
So there's a lot of research showing that the way we teach now and the way, and I must say that in many respects a lot of MOOCs are what you might call digitizing the dinosaur of that method. Mm-hmm. And how do we get from this blending of stuff like that with what we're doing now to a future in which we're actually better preparing students for the world that they will encounter?
Oh, okay. Well, we have been starting some experiences at the university level regarding this mindset, change of mindset. Okay, we have some teachers that they are changing absolutely the way they were teaching before, by basing all their classes on problems, programming problems that they are not only set by themselves but also for the students. So they are making like introducing the student as part of the design of the course, and this makes me think that has to do something with what I think is the future of the education, because I think introducing the students as part of the definition of the curriculum, definition of what they really need, they have those skills that maybe we lack of some of these skills, and they are introducing part of these skills within the same curriculum. I think this is a good way. So some of the experience, we ran 2 experiences, one in advanced programming, and the students were incredibly happy. The teacher almost dies in the way because it's so hard, because you have to be able to talk to all your students and so on. I don't know how much scalable is this, because they were only 20 students, I must say, but I think this is a good way to do something like that.
Thank you for your question. Yeah, it raised the difference between a digitized course and a really digital one. But obviously, I think that there is a time we have to work with our faculty member to make them change into, okay, I was just addressing a big audiences of 800 students, and it was really easy for me to improvise because I may be like a good actor, and in in-person class it's really easy to talk for them. And now they have to talk to a camera, and they have to figure out this camera as a student. But this is not the important thing about videos, but really like how we can make those faculty members working on, okay, how can I design my scenarios to make this online pass and this in-person pass, to make this complementary and so on. So I think that we've been trying some design thinking methods to design scenarios, for example, or trying to make like you have to visualize your course on a screen. So why not make some visual thinking workshop with the faculty members? So working with them, but all of this takes time, and it's time that take out of research time. So we have to get some really MOOCs faculty members are really motivated to just change their practice and to just say I'm pretty. They say they are bored of what they've done and they want some change. So we are lucky about that. But obviously, the main question that they raise is like, how can I better allocate the time I have with my students in the class? And this is the big issues, and they come with question with like let's go for a flipped classroom, but how can I facilitate a debate with 800 students in my class? This is a huge issue. So we have to find out some way to do so, or maybe we can just split the groups, and you will say instead of coming 2 hours a week, each group will come 30 minutes or 40 minutes. I don't know, like we have to find out with the same resources way to get more interactive classes, but to really get this, and not just to say, okay, we are flipping the classroom, giving the theory online, and just trying to get some short question impacting 4 students out of 800. So.
My question is also in the line of the impact that is the reflections that many professors are having now about how to improve their teaching impact. Then it makes them to reflect the new skills or the skills that they want to work with the students in their in the new scenario and the opportunities that the new scenarios are offering them. So I think this is the way how we the professors maybe and the institutions may work towards preparing better for the future than students.
Yes, please.
In your own experiences, what have the institutions done in order to make you or make other faculty members the kinds of champions for these kinds of projects and innovative, education? Is it, for example, that they provide financial or non-financial incentives, or you get time off from teaching, or how is it that your institutions have actually?
This is actually the second.
The next question. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Okay, let's listen.
No,
Yeah, just basically, how is it that the institutions have actually encouraged faculty members to move towards this kinds of experiences, higher education experiences?
Well, thank you for your question. It's true that we have a lot of faculty members who are coming to us to saying, well, we have massive audiences on campus. We have to teach to a lot of students, and they really found like the MOOC opportunity at the way to maybe find some solution of dealing with those big groups. So this is one first incentive for them to just say, okay, I want to make things differently, and there is an opportunity there because I will get some support and I will get the opportunity to hire a TA, because some faculty members even don't have a TA. For example, for the political science course, the TAs has been cancelled because of budget issues. So it's a way an opportunity to get, okay, for 1 year, for 3 years, I will get some support to make things differently, and I will figure out after that how can I make this changes sustainable. But definitely it's an opportunity for change. But there is no financial compensation for this. There is no less hours teaching for them. So it's really based on personal motivation and maybe the fact that they want to collaborate with colleagues. So they might not be collaborating in research for different colleagues in the institute, but they might collaborate on an education project such as a MOOC on an hybrid course. So definitely collaboration is also a motivation, but we have to say that there is no direct financial motivation at Louvain.
Do I need to?
I don't mind. Okay. Anyway, I don't mind. Okay. Yeah, it's a good question, and I probably would like to go one step back, thinking or reflecting about why good teachers start or think of creating a MOOC. So some of them probably are interested because they want to improve their teaching impact or rethink their teaching, their reform classes. Some of them are interested because they would like to use it as a science communication approach because they are creating a MOOC related to their research and then apply it to their teaching. And some of them create a MOOC because the institution is asking them to create such a MOOC because the institution will use for promotion purposes or whatever. So there are different reasons behind the motivation of teachers for creating MOOCs. But in any of these cases, all these cases are present in my institution anyway, but there are, again, no compensation in terms of teaching hours. Less time in class is also not possible because of the university regulations. So, yeah, there are no resources along these lines. So there are two ways in which the institution can compensate in a way. And one is recognition. If the MOOC are having a good impact in their teaching or external impact, this could be a way of recognizing quality teaching or innovation in education efforts, etc. And then the other thing is giving support. So just supporting teachers interested in creating and facilitating MOOC is somehow already a reward, or could be, depending on the case, understood as a reward. Also, in the specific case of Catalonia, I have to say that there is a call, so it's supported by a public call where they are funding or partially funding the creation of MOOCs. So the institution is also supporting the professors if they want to apply for this funding. So this is the way in which the institution can reward teachers if they want to embark in the creation of MOOCs and hybrid education-related experiences. Monica.
Well, I'm happy to hear all this because I think we are super advanced, even more than the MIT. I will tell my dean. Look, we have different actions. We have many actions, in fact. First, we have created a new position, which is based mainly on pedagogy. So their evaluations is not only research, is mainly what you do in the classroom, what are your assessments from your studies, what are your new pedagogies that you are trying. You have to prove that you have done that, sending projects and so on. So these are special positions that are now open in my university, and I are focused mainly on pedagogy. In any field. I mean, I have one in computer science, one colleague of mine, but his focus is on pedagogy, innovating. Second change is we have changed the evaluation. So now it's not only publishing, it's also innovating in pedagogy. And this is also, it's 50-50 right now in the university. We give money and we give time because we left, we delete part of their courses so they don't have to do their courses and they can skip courses for doing a MOOC. We say a MOOC now, we will be another thing tomorrow, we don't know. But right now it's a MOOC because we have different calls during the year and they can apply and they can present their project. And we are evaluating in these projects if they are planning to do some specific experiences. And second, we are doing recognition with prizes too. which are paid also, and sometimes invited to go to our university and share their experience in another university. And then we are running now, which is becoming very well, institutionally we are running like a kind of network of teachers in which they come every month and they share their experiences in a seminar. So we gave them the word and they explained their own experiences, and this, I must say, is working really good. So people is engaging a lot, and this is kind of the ambassador of the teachers. So we have like kind of ambassadors, and we are sharing all this. These are the initiatives. You see, better than MIT, right?
So any other comments, questions about how institutions can make decisions to promote hybrid education, to promote MOOCs, to reward teachers, to compensate them for their huge effort in these hybrid education experiences?
I think that the last tells, I mean, if an institution has no vision where they want to get in 10 years or 5 years, I mean, then it doesn't make a difference if you have a reward scheme or whatever. You have to have some vision that you want to end up some place in 2 years or in 5 years time, and then you can think about the strategy and plans. If you don't have that, then bottom up is very good there, because you never neglect it, because there are wonderful things happening. But if it's not also top down, then I mean, then as soon as one of you disappear from your institute, then the initiative is away.
I will tell my dean that I'm very happy for him and his decisions. Yeah, because we have a roadmap. Because all this MOOC initiative is embedded in a new unit that they have created for a project that is called 2030, which aims to transforming Chile using engineering. So the idea is to form new engineerings in a new way of thinking, and this is embedded on this project. So for us, MOOCs are only the catalyst to engage all this innovation process, this new way of thinking things, new way of changing the way you do things and the way you... This is linked with our initiative in Chile, like Startup Chile, for example. They are doing things, and what they do, they can present that in a startup thing, so it's kind of an everything, it's an ecosystem.
I have a point now in the next 5 years. So how to get that started to teach the universities to start asking them, do you have a vision? Do you have
That's nice.
Or is it just bottom up? And the ideas, if they get provoked by this question, they may start thinking about it.
Yeah, the vision is also really important to say, okay, if there is an institution that the institution take into account the fact that the MOOC is an important thing as a future strategy, of the fact that the MOOC may impact the residential learning and the residential way of learning. This is a big signal to say, okay, the dean, the president, they are really involved into making this initiative spread out. So I might going to this boat because the institution is going too. So this is obviously a motivation to say, okay, I'm not doing this on my own just as an experiment, but there is all the institution going with me on this MOOC initiative, definitely.
But even beyond that, also the idea that universities can collaborate on this. So in my earlier questions, if really two universities are giving the same courses exactly the same, why don't we collaborate on this and put your emphasis on the things you want to put your emphasis on because they have added value? I mean, that's also part of the vision. It's not just that you're locally happy and can dance at Friday night at 4 and 3. It's also that they can bring more value for the same.
Yeah, definitely collaboration is a big motivation to do MOOCs too, like just to say, okay, we are part of a consortium. This is also a way to interact with new partners, to see what people are doing, to exchange best practices and so on. And thus, the MOOC opens opportunity to collaborate not in research but in education-based projects. So this is pretty new for us, definitely.
So you mentioned that you created some new positions. What is the title?
It's it's a teacher assistant or wherever you apply for. It's the same. It's exactly the same like me, for example, that I have a more research weight, let's say, but it's the same name, it's the same amount of money you earn, and so on. But the evaluation is most focused on pedagogy, and you have one more course. So I'm teaching 2 more courses. I'm teaching 3 courses per year. They are teaching 5.
Okay, so we have been discussing these very interesting topics for more than half hour. And I would like to thank you, the 3 panelists, Mar, Ella, and Davinia, for coming here with us. So thank you very much.